All right, hey everyone. Welcome to our second show of the day of this 18th day of May, 2021. This is, of course, the Bitcoin Brief with my co-host Jimmy Song, who has not yet joined the stream. And because of that, we're going to look at the price of Bitcoin first to follow up on my video from about 4 hours ago. Let's go to the charts. All right. Here's the weekly chart. The weekly chart remains in bearish territory. It's actually very bearish, with the MRI still having several weeks to go before a potential bottom. We are now below two moving averages. We are now working on an entire candle below both of those moving averages, and those moving averages are about to cross over in about a week. Well, between the candles of next week and the week after. Okay, so it's the daily chart that made me bullish early this morning. So why did the daily chart made me bullish early this morning? Well, technically the daily chart made me bullish even yesterday because of this MRI buy opportunity. This MRI buy opportunity, I remain trusting this MRI buy opportunity for a potential 1 to 4 day correction, maybe back to the moving averages. Maybe it'll have enough mustard to get us back to new all-time highs. We'll see. Well, we're gonna judge it. Those of you that are subscribed to Willie Woo's newsletter, that came out a few hours ago, and of course, I read every word of it. I'm not gonna, give away my friend's thoughts on the matter. I'm sure his thoughts are in his Twitter, but he's got a great newsletter, which may be taking a few months break because he is going on a little bit of a leave. So I might be a little bit more bullish than him at the moment, and just a little bit, but only because of the MRI, because that is one of my top metrics. At the moment, I don't have the candlesticks to tell me we're going lower, and I don't have the chart patterns to tell us we're going lower. So I'm just going by the MRI to tell me that there is potential for a 1 to 4 day rebound. Now, this rebound could start tomorrow. Again, earlier today, when I did a video, I took everybody back to this particular area of July 2017, where it looked like a similar situation was happening. We had a pretty wide consolidation, eventually broke down support, broke the MRI support, created a horrible, nasty MRI buy candle, and then had a huge rally off the 128 day the following day. Situation is a little bit different because we have lost the 128 day, but we have similarly consolidated, recently broke the MRI support, and I was hoping we would bounce right off the 200 day moving average, but we didn't quite get there. Now, at the moment, as I said earlier today, if I'm entering a bullish trade on this candle, I have my stop loss right below the swing low. I very, very rarely remove stop losses, and I don't double down at a loss. Now, this is one of those rare exceptions where I'm willing to alter those rules. And those of you that took my workshops know that those are rules number 1 and rule number 2. Rule number 1, don't add to losing positions. And rule number 2, don't remove the stop loss. There is potential to fudge those rules a little bit. And the reason for that is that the MRI buy opportunity lasts at least 24 hours. It lasts at least 24 hours. So we still have 8 hours to go in this candle. And as I shown you earlier, I never ever go short the following candle, but there are long opportunities the following candle as well. So while if I made my bet on the upside on this candle bigger than I should have, and I am actually concerned as to how much money I am losing if the price of Bitcoin goes below 4,200, I would cut the trade. But if I entered that trade with proper position sizing to where I am still comfortable holding this trade to the long side, even on a daily scale, even against the weekly bearishness, if I am still comfortable holding this trade long, as long as it holds this support cluster, I would then make an exception to lower that stop loss to below the moving average, and ideally a close below the moving average, unless it's really crashing badly. And then once again, if I start to feel like I'm losing money I can't afford to lose, I would then have to cut the bait on the trade, the losing trade. But if I'm comfortable holding this trade through this support, like if I'm comfortable letting it go down to 40,000, and I did not bet a lot on this trade, and I see a bounce off of the $40,000 area, I would then even consider doubling on that trade. Like maybe not double down, but maybe add to that bullish trade, because I hate the mentality of, well, if I add to a losing position, then it's like I'm entering at a lower price. I don't think that way in my trading. When I'm doubling on a losing position, it means I've made a mistake and I'm about to make that mistake worse. But in this particular case, I don't feel that I made a mistake, because I'm not buying, I'm not long here because of feelings. I'm long here because of technicals that I trust. And there is another set of technicals that I trust a little bit lower, which is just as good. So those of you that have taken my risk management workshop know that the only time I would ever break rules 1 and 2 is if I have a better opportunity to enter the same exact trade at the same direction at a lower price from a technical perspective, not of a feeling that I now get to buy it cheaper, but for technical TA reasons. And there was 2 TA reasons right here, not to mention my first TA reason is still there even tomorrow if the price goes lower, but I would need a rebound. I'm not going to buy just because it went into the 40s. I would buy on the way up. All right, Jimmy will join us in a bit. Yeah, sure. I looked at Bitcoin dominance early this morning, and I'll look at it again. This is a weekly scale of Bitcoin dominance. We can go to the daily scale of Bitcoin dominance, and it looks like the daily scale doesn't have the ridiculous spike the weekly scale has, which, anyone else finding weird? Oh, it's gone. The big spike's gone. Huh. Interesting. I guess that was a data error, huh? Well, the same exact thing is happening right now. You see, while this candle was looking good at one point, it no longer looks good from a candle perspective, but I'm still giving this one more week. It's the same environment, it's just one candle further along, but here we're using weekly candles as opposed to daily candles. GBTC is on an MRI buy. It is holding MRI support still. And, well, I mean, it'll move to the upside if Bitcoin moves to the upside. I don't like this triple bottom. I really don't. It bothers me a lot. This line is known as the acceleration line, and the close below this line would basically mean I am now bearish. So looking at this 1 hour chart, I don't need to draw a line. This line is perfectly suited, maybe a smidge higher, and a close below 42.4 would get me bearish on the hourly time scale. But the hourly time scale is also close to its own MRI buy opportunity. In fact, it would be kind of cool if the hourly chart kept grinding down for the next 3 to 4 hours and gave us a nice clean MRI buy on the hourly chart sometime, 5 hours from now. Looking at the 4 hour chart, again, this chart looks absolutely nasty. And it all started at 8 a.m. when I did my morning video. Maybe someone was watching and said, Tone, F you. If you're bullish, I'm going to sell everything. I don't think that happened. I have no control of the markets, and I don't believe anyone is watching this channel to make me look stupid. I can do that all on my own. I don't really need help. So the 4 hour chart actually looks pretty damn bearish. A new 4 hour low close would be very concerning for me. And we're very, very close. We're flirting with it right now. So Bitcoin does need to reverse, and it needs to reverse ideally on the current 4 hour candle, or even better, at the end of the current 4 hour candle to reverse, because that would align it with the daily MRI buy opportunity on the 1 hour chart. Okay, now that the markets are open, we can take a peek at gold. I don't know if gold has topped for the week because we still have 3 more days to go, but we will keep an eye on this MRI top and see how it develops. Again, notice the MRI buy opportunity on gold. This was not an easy call, but I made the call this week, and I might have looked a little bit stupid for a few days of the following week, but look what happened from that moment. So this was a gold, and it broke the MRI support, and I was still bullish. If you go back to the gold videos, I was pretty bullish right here. In fact, I called this to be the low for the year. This was the weekly buy on gold, and it might have been a daily as well. Let us go back and check. That's a 10% move. Right, that was beautiful. See, notice this was a weekly MRI buy on gold, and when the new week started, I was still bullish even though we were going lower because of the daily MRI on gold. I trusted the MRI back then in gold to call this, a buying opportunity, and that worked out really well. Again, same indicator, same idea. Let's see if Bitcoin could do the same as gold did in early March. There's not much difference in these charts. I don't like the fact that we rallied early this morning, then pulled back, but we're rallying once again. We got to see where this candle closes, and then we got to see if tomorrow can hold yesterday's low. Those are the key points. And as far as whether I would be leaving my stop loss here or lowering my stop loss really depends on how big and how, leveraged that position is. I have not yet bought into GBTC. I was going to do it today, but at the moment I'm staying patient because it dropped before the market opened. So I had no reason to rush in and buy more GBTC. I'm waiting for a better opportunity later today, or I will wait till tomorrow. I'd rather buy on the way up, knowing that it's going to keep going up, than try to time and buy the low. All right, so as we continue to wait for Jimmy, let's look at the S&P 500. The S&P 500 has not started this week well, and I continue to wait for it to go above these 2 candles for me to be bullish once again. What's another way for me to be bullish? Well, Bitcoin, S&P would need to drop down to this red line or complete a 1-2-4 candle correction or something. But right now, I remain cautious on the S&P 500 because of the MRI top. The MRI has been very good lately, and I would hate to watch it fail on Bitcoin here, because it certainly did not fail on Bitcoin the last time we had an MRI buy opportunity. Speaking of Tesla, so Tesla remains looking more bearish than bullish, but the MRI buy is coming this week. But this is consolidation at the low. Consolidation at the low makes me more bearish than bullish. On a weekly scale, Tesla also remains in more of a bearish posture than a bullish one. Do I have MicroStrategies here? Let's see how MicroStrategies is doing. MicroStrategy is, of course, tied to the performance of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has not been doing well since around February, and neither has MicroStrategy stock. But hey, a weekly MRI buy on MicroStrategies is coming up 1 week before Bitcoin's, so let's see if MicroStrategies can turn everything around. On a daily scale, we're also looking bearish. All right, welcome everyone. I'm now looking at your live chat. Welcome Mary Fox. Any other moderators? It's Hard, still with us. Awesome. Crypto Comments, thank you for your generous super chat in rubles. And of course, I already took a look at Bitcoin dominance. I will look again. We'll flip to the daily scale of Bitcoin dominance. And, ooh, look at that. So the daily scale is on an MRI warning buy. So now we will have a daily MRI buy coming in tomorrow. I don't like the chart pattern. I don't like that we're about to close on a new swing low, but tomorrow is an MRI daily buy that was a few days after a weekly MRI buy. Again, looking at gold, that's exactly what gold looked like. Here's the daily chart of gold. Here's our weekly MRI buy. Then we had one more candle, and then we reversed on the MRI buy daily. The other question is, I'm long Bitcoin, should I be worried? Well, it depends on how much leverage is in your trade, how much you can afford to lose, and what is your time horizon. I mean, if you entered a trade expecting to make money in the next few hours, and that trade was highly leveraged, yes, you should be worried. But if you entered a trade like Michael Saylor putting $10 million into Bitcoin yesterday, no, you should not be worried, right? It really depends on your leverage, your tolerance, and your risk management of that trade. All right, we can take a look at a few more. I should take a look at Coinbase, actually. Before I take a look at the Coinbase stock, I'm gonna do a little ad. If you guys are looking to learn how to trade, I have a free tutorial on tonevays.com, Learn Trading. Something a little more advanced is my educational series. There's really only 2 videos, unless you're an options trader, which is way more advanced. And you get them together for a nice discount. And finally, we have the MRI, which is a little more expensive and is for advanced traders. It's not for beginners. Oh, wait. What did I just do that? And in about a week or 2, there will be another section here called Private Q&A, which will let you ask your questions in a private Zoom chat. Okay, let's take a look at Coin. I continue to wait for Coin to give me a 50% discount off the IPO day. And yes, to me, it's an IPO. How much will private Zoom cost, and how do we sign up? You'll sign up through the website, and I'm still working on the pricing. It's not going to be cheap because it doesn't scale. So ultimately, the price is going to be $200 for the first month, and then $1,000 for the following year. So you get a 1 month expensive trial, because I hate doing admin work, and this is admin work. So you have to be sure you want to try it. Jimmy's on. You have to be sure you want to try it. So your first month will be $200, and then if you like it and you want to stick around, it'll cost you $1,000 for the next 12 months, which is like $80 a month. Because this product only scales to a few hundred people, and it's more for people that want to get their questions answered. Okay. Yeah, it's not going to be cheap. It's almost like an expensive Patreon. We'll see. I might start it off lower, so make sure to sign up early. All right, enough of that. I'm looking at coin. I'm still bearish based on this trend of coin stock. All right, and on that note, we'll probably look at a quick peek at Bitcoin price one more time when we are done talking about Elon Musk. And Jimmy, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on, man.
All right. How's your day?
It's been interesting so far. I just recorded with Chuck Woolery. Do you remember him from like all the game shows and stuff?
Oh yeah! Whoa, he's alive?
Yeah, he's like 80, and he wanted to do a podcast on Bitcoin, so I was on his show.
Oh, that's awesome! Yeah, that's really, really cool. All right, let's talk some stories, man. So, man, Elon Musk is doubling down. Is that wise?
Well, I mean, it's not wise for him, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I think he's being kind of dumb. The one thing I will point out is that he keeps saying that Tesla hasn't sold any Bitcoin, and I think that's a way to protect his stock from getting shorted to death, which almost happened to him about 1.5 years ago. I think there was a huge army on Twitter, Tesla Q, something like that, because they thought they were going to go bankrupt and so on. He survived that, fortunately, but now he knows that that's sort of like an existential threat that's always there. And I always sort of viewed his foray into Bitcoin, or Tesla's foray into Bitcoin, as sort of protection against short selling. So yeah, that's my thought. But then again, like, he's like trying to tell people that he's like meeting with Doge devs and everything else, despite there having been no commits to Dogecoin in like 2 years. I like, it's just, he seems to want to be another altcoin messiah like so many other people. That's what.
Oh wait, not to mention that when someone took a look at Dogecoin commits, they all turned out to be Bitcoin devs.
Yeah, I mean, because essentially they forked it off of Bitcoin, so it was all Bitcoin stuff. The guy that actually coded it, I think, spent 2 hours like changing it to have a different.
Are we talking about Jackson Palmer?
It wasn't Jackson Palmer. He had the idea, but it was some other guy that actually did it, and it literally took him 2 hours to add script, which they copied from Litecoin. I think maybe later on they had to do a little more work to make sure that they were merge mined with Litecoin, but that's about it. That they really haven't done very much with that coin, and it has been and continues to be a meme currency, which, is sort of the millennial way, right? GameStop, AMC, Hertz, or whatever. I can see the appeal, but it's still doesn't take away how stupid it is.
Yeah. So Jimmy, so what you're saying is, for the last 3 years, I could have just been referring to myself as a Doge dev, and Elon would have called me, and we could have had a nice chat. Like, who the hell did he talk to?
I don't know. I wish I knew. I mean, I'm guessing, he's just sort of saying stuff. He's been known to lie once in a while. So I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about. And, I hope he goes all in on Doge. Do it, man. And make all those Doge people very happy, and then disappoint them slowly over a very long period of time, because that's essentially what he's going to do.
Yeah, so he started replying to the Bitcoiners, and of course now everyone is accusing Bitcoin maximalists, or as I like to call them, shitcoin minimalists, of not being nice to the to others. And this is what's really frustrating. Like, because like Elon's replying to scammers, he's replying to bad people, and we're clearly too nice because these scammers still have a platform and people are believing in them, and us Bitcoiners do a decent job calling people out on their bullshit by showing facts, but we could be doing better things with our time than disproving Elon's random say that Bitcoin is destroying the environment.
Yeah, I can't understand this like anti-toxicity talk or whatever. We're not toxic as much as we're like trying to protect people from getting scammed. And the fact of the matter is, if you're nice to a scammer, they will just eat you alive. That's basically it. So yeah, I really don't think it's a very good thing.
Right. The best scammers are very nice and very smart. That's how they're able to scam you. If they were, nasty people, you would not be fooled by their bullshit.
Yeah, you would not.
Okay. So Elon also replied how centralized Bitcoin is, which again is frustrating because there are plenty of resources that state otherwise. And I did reply to Elon, so maybe he'll read my article on what makes Bitcoin actually decentralized. And look, we understand that there are elements inside Bitcoin that are not ideal, and we would love for them to be more decentralized. But A, we are not able to control Bitcoin to force decentralization upon it. And more importantly, Dogecoin is infinitely more centralized than Bitcoin. So what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, he's repeating all the FUD points from 2016 or whatever. So I don't think he's at all interested in the truth. He's making his own narrative, and this is what every altcoin personality ends up doing. Is they have to grow their following. They have to be willfully ignorant. They have to do mental gymnastics. And he started down that path, and it's actually really sad. We saw it happen with Trace Mayer like a little over a year ago.
I still want him back. I don't think of all the people that got crushed by the community, that I mean, like the rest of them were way worse than what Trace did, and they're still out there scamming people, and Trace is gone. I'd like to see
Well, I don't know. I don't think I think he's still into Mimble coin. That's his coin, right? And Elon wants to do that with Doge. Roger did that with Bcash. Vitalik did that with Ethereum. Charles Hodgkinson did that with, why can't I remember?
that's because it's been like
Cardano. That's right, Cardano.
Was the latest one, right?
Yeah,
but remember, Charles was involved in BitShares and then Ethereum and then Cardano.
Yeah, this is all sort of like I'm going to use my my celebrity as a way to bridge the credibility gap that really should be coming from long-term proved scarcity, right? Credible long-term scarcity that you only get through time. Instead, they're trying to make it up with their celebrity, which is something that I pointed out in my newsletter. It's sad. But then again, like he's Jack Mallers had this really great tweet thread on the history of Elon Musk and everything else, and I think I kind of agree with it. I don't know if he's this like amazing savior that is this brilliant person that creates awesome stuff. He seems to know how to hire some people, but him as a person, it seems kind of like a sociopath.
Yeah. Well, on that note, we're going to stick with the Elon and Bitcoin thing for a little bit longer. So Cathie Woods of ARK Invest, and with their ETFs that have become very, very popular, they're pretty exposed to Tesla as well. And they came out and made a statement that Bitcoin is not bad for the environment. And obviously, there's going to be some pushback. Now, what you said earlier, Jimmy, I actually want to mention. You talked about Tesla, Elon trying to hold on to Tesla's stock value. Well, if what Elon's doing is dropping the price of Bitcoin, Tesla is holding a lot of Bitcoin. So their stock will start to be a little bit correlated with Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin is crashing, so will Tesla, and obviously MicroStrategies as well, which is down quite a bit. Well, because again, MicroStrategy, because they are basically a de facto Bitcoin ETF now as they continue to buy more. Okay, so back to ARK Invest. I don't think we really need to comment on it. You guys can go ahead and read it. I'm sure everyone has seen it. And once again, a bunch of research would need to be done to prove facts that Elon's facts are incorrect. And even if Elon's facts were correct, he's still wrong on, his views of set incorrect facts. So meanwhile, the amount of coins that have been moved into exchanges and has been sold on the exchanges is, of course, on the rise. But a lot of this coin that has been sold, from what I'm reading, is large recent holders that started buying when MicroStrategies was announcing, when Elon was announcing. So most likely the main sellers right now were the buyers over here on this big run-up or the next big run-up, and they kind of want to get out with a profit because they can always get back in with their millions of dollars. So this selling doesn't look like it's over, but as I mentioned earlier on this show and in a show 4 hours ago, and I'll mention again when we're done with the news, I am going to trust the MRI buy, and I am looking for at least a 1 to 4 candle correction to probably get us back close to 50K before we can reassess the situation of the market. Any thoughts on this, Jimmy, before we move on to just our last story, before we talk about Taproot, which is MicroStrategies buying more Bitcoin?
not a surprise. He's going to stack as much as he can, and it makes sense. You want to buy during these dips instead of like kind of panicking and doing whatever. The Elon stuff seems to have played out. It dropped twice because he kept complaining and whatever. The next one I don't think will really affect it at all. He's sort of played out on the Bitcoin space already, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard for him to save face on this one because, man, like some of the Bitcoiners on Twitter, they remember shit from 2013 that people said, and they still give you a crap about that.
Yeah, he's going to have a hard time trying to rehabilitate his reputation if he ever wants to. But I don't know. I suspect he's too ego-driven to do that. So, yeah.
Hey, Jimmy, we're looking really good for that Taproot update. Obviously, it's not going to happen on this period, but I think next period we're in.
Yeah, so if you scroll to the top.
Yeah, you can look at the miner
mining pools.
Yeah, this is great.
So the two pools that I think three pools that really or four pools. So via BTC is like signaling everything. BTC.com is signaling some stuff, but not others. Right. Binance is also doing something similar, as is Huobi and 1T hash. Everybody else, and BTC.top started sort of signaling as well. So those five pools, if they come in, then that's like 95% of the hash rate. And that's enough to make it go through. And they just have to get ready by next week or so, and we'll be okay. But yeah, it's looking really good. I'm disappointed that BTC.com, Binance, Huobi, 1T hash, and BTC.top aren't upgrading everything at once. I guess they want to like test it a little bit and then do it a little by little. But But I mean, it is what it is, and we're not making it on this one, but it looks like we'll make it on the next one, and all of the speedy trial drama that's been happening with the Bitcoin devs will come to an end.
Yeah, I was about to say, is Bitcoin Mechanic happy?
Well, I mean, so Luke
He
Dash.
watches. He watches. If you're watching, say something in the live chat.
Yeah, I mean, Luke Dash is like, yeah, he and Greg Maxwell have been fighting quite a bit. Matt Corallo's also been fighting with Luke, and a lot of people have been, and it's yeah, it's not fun watching all of that play out, because there's so many accusations being thrown back and forth about BitBait, Bit9, lot equals true, lot equals false, and all the stuff that's going on. It's I don't know. There's a price to be paid every time we have a soft fork, because you need consensus, and it's consensus is not easy, and usually there's at least some people that aren't completely happy with it, and that's what we're getting right now.
Guys, keep in mind this check mark and this no, it just refers to the last block being mined. At least that's my assessment of it from what I've seen.
That is correct. Yep.
And yeah, I mean, Binance Pool is now up to 3 blocks. I mean, as long as they've signaled once, it means that they are not fighting Taproot. So hopefully next period, and if not, then I'm 99% certain it'll be the period after. But I have 90% confidence that next 2-week period we'll get a segwit. I keep calling it segwit, Taproot.
Yeah, and that means mid-November release of Taproot on the network, which will be really interesting.
Okay, so we do have an interesting. Well, it's not a question, right? But it's people's misunderstanding. Once again, so I'll just read it verbatim. Whoa, Bitcoin maxis. Seething at Elon because they know he can kill their bags. Laughing my ass off. No, that's not it. That's really not it.
I mean, that's a troll tone, and that's a troll.
But a lot of people are this stupid. So we have to constantly explain. Most people that are Bitcoin maximalists have either realized it right away. Very few people, like Adam Back, Gregory Maxwell, Luke Dash, they realized it like back in 2010, 2011 when they saw it, and they've never, changed their mind. Some of us had our little shitcoin phase that didn't last very long. And myself included, I really thought that some of this stuff might actually succeed for a minute there. And then I came to my senses. But the point is that most Bitcoin maximalists have been through bear markets before. Bitcoin doesn't need Elon. But Elon needs to understand that he should be on the right path. We're trying to help him, as bad as it looks, because Twitter comments are as decentralized as Bitcoin. I have the power to control other people on Twitter and what they say about the same as I have control of Bitcoin. So it is what it is. We're just trying to save as many people as we can from losing their life savings or destroying their companies. Look, we would all love for Jihan to still be the CEO of Bitmain, and we tried to explain to him how he could have remained the CEO of Bitmain, but no, he had to go ahead and fork the chain. So who's wrong there? Jimmy, your general thoughts?
Yeah, I don't really respond to trolls like that. And the thing is, like, people have a lot of people trust Elon for some reason, especially millennials, and I think that trust is misplaced. This is the motto of Bitcoin: you verify, you don't trust. And if you're trusting people, you're going to get led astray into altcoin land or whatever. And you're going to end up regretting it. Learn it yourself. Take the time and do the right thing instead of taking shortcuts by trusting random celebrities or whatever. That's how you get into trouble. And that's And we've said this on this channel many times, like, don't trust me or tell them, go verify it yourself, go learn it on your own. Instead of just listening to what we say. You want to trust Elon, well, good luck to you, but also have fun staying poor.
All right, just got DM'd the question. Tone, can you address the rumors that Elon is preparing to come back with some kind of a Tesla Bitcoin green mining? I'm sure they're just rumors, because it makes no sense. What are you gonna do? It just makes no sense to demonize Bitcoin, and then it's a silly rumor. I don't believe this to be true, because if Elon wants to mine Bitcoin with his green energy, just do it. No one is stopping him. Demonizing the rest of Bitcoin mining unless you have a deal with the government that they're going to ban all non-green Bitcoin mining, which I doubt he has. So it makes no sense logically whatsoever. He can start a pool that only uses green energy, and then he can get other miners to join his pool. But again, miners care about money. They care about, can he mine blocks faster, or can he give them better terms? Again, he has no control of this. It makes no sense. The rumor is silly. Jimmy?
Yeah, I don't know where this rumor comes from or whatever. He does produce lots of solar panels and so on. So maybe that's how he'll do it. But yeah, I wouldn't trust any of these rumors. Just wait for it to play out. Like, you just stack sats and hold. That's really it. I don't think there's much more you need to do other than that.
All right. There was a question way in the beginning of this chat. Jimmy, where do you think we are on Bitcoin adoption? And the thing, when people say Bitcoin adoption, you have to be more specific. When I hear Bitcoin adoption, I'm thinking used for transactions. What do you think?
I think use for saving, and I'm going to guess around 10%.
And how do you think that's progressing?
I think a lot of weekends shook out already. But yeah, we'll have to see. It's very easy to sort of jump on something because you're like excited about the speculative sort of gambling aspect of it, but it really depends on a lot of other things. Ultimately, the long-term value comes from learning it on your own, and for a good reason and so on.
All right, guys, that concludes our news portion of the program. I'm gonna quickly talk about price once again, because we've already done price. We're at 1,250 viewers, Jimmy. That's pretty damn good. And
bull market.
Considering Ace is already asleep. And we are in the middle of a daily MRI buy. So I am looking at the hourly chart. I was eyeing the hourly chart in order to get us an hourly MRI buy, hopefully later today. But if we start rallying now, we may not get that hourly MRI buy, which would have been nice. As I said on an earlier stream today, I am bullish as of today for at least a dead cat bounce into the 250 period moving average. And then we will reevaluate in the next few days of how that's going. My initial stop loss, as I explained, would be the swing low, but I would consider lowering that to below this cluster of support only for today and tomorrow. But if we are going below this low the day after tomorrow, then I'm not going to consider this to be as strong of support. I'm only considering this to be strong support today or tomorrow, or maybe very early in the day after. But if it's closing back here, even above this support, I'm no longer going to be bullish. I would love for this candle to have a shorter wick at the top than at the bottom, and then I'll be very bullish going into tomorrow's candle. All right, that is it for the price. I did a bunch of price earlier, and I am now gonna pull up Jimmy's website so he can promote his events and books at the upcoming conference in Miami.
Yeah, so Programming Bitcoin is a book for programmers. If you are interested in learning about the Bitcoin protocol, this is what you should order. I also have 2 other books. The Little Bitcoin book, it's for the layperson that wants to learn more about Bitcoin and doesn't have any idea what's going on. Thank God for Bitcoin. This is the Christian moral argument for Bitcoin. For the Christian in your life that might be interested, go to locations. I am going to teach the material from Programming Bitcoin live, and this is a 2-day seminar in Miami, June 1st and 2nd. And I'm also doing this in Mexico, August 10th and 11th. I will be sending out scholarship winners later today for Miami. But yeah, you can apply today and learn from me. Those are the things that I am doing. And yeah, it looks very interesting. But yeah, the discount ends today for the $500 discount because it is about 14 days before the event.
All right, guys, that was it. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you all on the next one.
Fiat Delinda S, this song is done.